If you point a camera at Earth from 600 kilometers above, it's mesmerizing. Cities light up like constellations, human civilization shining back at the cosmos. But when you pan over the Korean peninsula, something strange happens. South Korea glows like a circuit board. North Korea is nearly pitch black, just a faint glow around Pyongyang. That darkness is more than the absence of light. It's a warning, a silhouette of control, fear, and isolation. But darkness is only the surface. Once the sun rises, satellite imagery peels back the layers. Vast cities engineered for control, airfields nestled deep in valleys, mountains hollowed out for military operations. Over 10,000 military installations squeezed into a country smaller than Pennsylvania, one of the largest armies on Earth, always on alert. Every road, every structure, strategically placed to serve the regime, not the people. Yet amidst this machinery of power, signs of life flicker through. Open-air markets, ski resorts, even soccer fields. And then you notice the contradictions. Giant water parks with no people, opulent monuments to leaders towering over ration lines. There are churches, but no worship. Mosques, but no congregation. Murals of smiling leaders painted onto the walls of prison camps. Let's begin with the dynasty at the center of it all. Welcome back to Facts on Trial. Kim Jong-un is the third ruler in a dynasty that traces its roots back to 1948, when his grandfather Kim Il-sung declared himself the leader of a newly formed Democratic People's Republic of Korea. His father, Kim Jong-il, took over in 1994, and when Jong-il died in 2011, the young Swiss-educated Kim Jong-un stepped into power, ruthlessly eliminating rivals, including his own uncle and half-brother. Kim isn't just a dictator, he's a brand, a myth, a divine figurehead. State propaganda claims he's a genius tactician, a musical prodigy, a perfect golfer. His birthplace, the sacred slopes of Mount Paektu, though Soviet records place it in Russia. No matter, the mythology is too useful to question. This dynasty is wrapped in reverence. The faces of his grandfather and father beam from every public building, every home, every classroom, and every citizen, no matter how poor, is expected to hang their portraits. At the heart of North Korea's control system is a caste-like hierarchy called Songbun. Established in the 1950s, it classifies every citizen based on the loyalty of their ancestors during the Japanese occupation and Korean War. There are three major classes: core, wavering, and hostile. If your grandparents fought for the revolution, you might live in Pyongyang, attend elite schools, maybe even become a party official. If they owned land, worked with Japanese occupiers, or fled south, your fate is sealed. You'll live in the countryside, assigned to menial jobs with no chance of social mobility. Even your children and grandchildren will inherit your low status. Songbun is invisible but omnipresent. It determines what food you eat, where you work, who you marry, and whether you'll ever set foot in the capital. In essence, it is a rigid, generational prison. North Korea's cities are not like other cities. They are carefully engineered stages, built to impress foreign visitors and showcase power. Massive parade grounds, empty 10-lane boulevards, concrete apartment blocks, all built after the Korean War flattened the country. Soviet-style architecture dominates the skyline. The capital, Pyongyang, is home to the elite. It gleams with wide avenues, electric streetcars, and high-rises. But look closer. The theme parks are empty. The stadiums rarely used. Most buildings lack running water. Electricity outages are common. Pyongyang is a Potemkin city, impressive from the outside, hollow within. Beyond Pyongyang, rural areas reveal the truth. Rows of identical houses line dusty roads. No private cars. People walk or bike. Each house belongs to a worker assigned to a nearby factory or greenhouse. These factory villages are the backbone of the state economy. People live where they work where they live, and rarely leave. In the 1990s, famine ravaged North Korea. The state's food distribution collapsed. People were left to fend for themselves. Out of this desperation emerged something revolutionary: the Jangmadang, or black markets. These markets, though semi-legal, now provide the goods the state can't. Traders bring in products from China, textiles, electronics, even USB drives filled with South Korean drama. These markets are found in nearly every city city and are often the only way families can survive. The regime tolerates them, but only barely. Periodic crackdowns remind people who's in charge. Yet even here, Songbun is eroding. Money talks. A trader from a low class might now live better than a loyal soldier. The very thing keeping people alive is also what threatens the regime's control. Then there are the camps, hidden in the mountains, out of sight. These aren't just prisons. They're vast labor complexes, some holding 20,000 or more. People are sent here for crimes as small as listening to a banned song or insulting a leader. Entire families can be imprisoned for one person's alleged offense. Inside, prisoners mine coal, cut timber, farm, and make brick. Children begin working as young as 4. The workday is 12 hours. Food is scarce. Beatings are common. Most will never leave. Satellite images show fences, guard towers, even execution sites. And yet, within these horrors, the camps are eerily orderly, like miniature cities. They have murals, schools, monuments. Propaganda permeates even the walls of a gulag. North Korea's military isn't just big, it's foundational. With over 1 million active soldiers and millions more in reserves, military service is mandatory. The regime spends over 25% of its GDP on defense. Artillery installations near the DMZ can fire 10,000 shells per minute into Seoul. Dozens of underground missile bases crisscross the landscape. Nuclear test sites are carved into mountain ranges, and Kim himself maintains a network of personal bunkers, airstrips, and escape tunnels, some leading toward China. But modern warfare for North Korea has gone digital. State-backed hacker groups like Lazarus conduct global cyber attacks, stealing cryptocurrency, hacking financial institutions, launching ransomware. It's warfare without borders, and it funds the regime's ambitions. North Korea's closest ally is China. Beijing provides food, fuel, and trade while shielding the regime from harsher UN sanctions. China sees North Korea as a buffer zone between itself and U.S. forces stationed in South Korea. Russia also maintains a relationship. Recent years have seen arms deals and energy exchanges, especially after Western sanctions isolated Moscow. Iran and Cuba maintain quiet ties as well, united by shared hostility to Western influence. Attempts at diplomacy have flared and fizzled. In 2018 and 2019, Kim met with then U.S. President Donald Trump. Handshakes, photo ops, and promises, but no lasting agreements. The nuclear program continues. Despite the divide, Koreans remain one people, yet their lived experiences couldn't be more different. South Korea is a democratic, tech-driven powerhouse. Its culture, K-pop, cinema, cuisine has taken the world by storm. Its cities pulse with innovation. North Korea remains sealed off, its people cut from the world, and yet defectors describe a shared cultural identity. Many dream of reunification, but with each passing generation, that dream fades. Migration between the two is nearly impossible. A heavily fortified DMZ stretches 160 miles across the peninsula. Some North Koreans attempt escape via China, risking arrest, imprisonment, even execution. Those who make it to South Korea face culture shock, discrimination, and surveillance. Yet they bring stories, raw, painful, illuminating. One defector described North Korea as suffocating, pitiful, but full of love. Another said, despite it all, it was my home. Religion is mostly banned. The few visible churches in Pyongyang are for show, built for visiting Russians or to signal tolerance. Practicing Christianity secretly can get you killed. Still, resistance exists. Smuggled Bibles, underground churches, secret listening parties to South Korean pop songs. People risk everything just to hear an outside voice. Children learn loyalty before they learn to read. Every day begins with bowing to portraits, singing praise to the Kims, memorizing war slogans. Indoctrination is relentless, and yet community survives. Families celebrate harvest festivals, share homemade alcohol, and lean on each other. The state controls much, but not everything. It cannot erase hope. North Korea isn't just a dictatorship, it's a prison built on stories. Stories about sacred mountains, invincible leaders, glorious futures. Stories told so often they become truth, even as people starve, disappear, and dream of escape. But when viewed from above, the cracks show. A darkened countryside lit only by Pyongyang's glow.
Officer kicked my face with his boots until my teeth were broken and I'd lost the hearing in my left ear.
Empty roads, fake churches, cities designed for cameras, not people. And in those cracks, something else flickers. Resilience, ingenuity, humanity. The roots of North Korea's isolation stretch back to the division of Korea after World War II. The Korean peninsula was liberated from Japanese colonial rule in 1945, but immediately divided along the 38th parallel. The Soviet Union occupied the north, the United States the south. Both superpowers installed governments claiming legitimacy over the entire peninsula. Tensions erupted into war in 1950 when North Korea invaded South Korea. The conflict drew in China, the U.S., and UN forces. The war ended in 1953 with an armistice, but no peace treaty was signed, leaving the Koreas technically still at war. The devastation was immense. Millions of lives lost, entire cities flattened, families torn apart. The division hardened into two separate states with competing ideologies and systems. The war created the Demilitarized Zone, DMZ, one of the world's most fortified borders, and cemented the militarized mindset of the North Korean regime. The scars of conflict still shape relations and daily life. Since the war, multiple attempts at reconciliation have occurred, including talks, family reunions, and cultural exchanges. But trust remains elusive. Periodic flare-ups of violence have taken place, from naval skirmishes to artillery exchanges near the border. North Korea's nuclear tests and missile launches have provoked international condemnation, further isolating the country. South Korea's policies toward the north have swung between engagement and hardline stances depending on the government in power. The promise of reunification remains a distant hope for most. Crossing from North to South Korea is nearly impossible due to the DMZ's heavy fortifications. Instead, defectors often escape through China, a journey fraught with danger. Those who flee face arrest, repatriation, and harsh punishment if caught. Brokers and secret networks facilitate these escapes, sometimes charging exorbitant fees. The psychological trauma is profound. Families left behind, fear of betrayal, and the challenge of adapting to a new world. Defectors who reach South Korea encounter a society vastly different from what they knew. Many struggle with language dialects, technology, social norms, and discrimination. Their stories provide rare glimpses inside North Korea's secretive society and fuel ongoing debates about human rights and diplomacy. North Korea has evolved into a digital threat as well. The regime's cyber units have launched attacks on global financial institutions, stolen cryptocurrency, and disrupted infrastructure. Groups like Lazarus and APT-38 have been linked to ransomware, phishing campaigns, and espionage. These operations provide revenue and strategic leverage, complicating international relations. Cyber warfare represents a modern frontier for North Korea, a tool to project power beyond its physical borders. The United Nations has repeatedly condemned North Korea for human rights abuses and nuclear tests. Sanctions aim to pressure the regime, but have had limited success in changing behavior. Humanitarian NGOs struggle to operate in the country, often relying on partnerships with the government. Information coming out of North Korea is scarce, filtered through defectors, satellite images, and rare official releases. International media coverage varies, from sensationalism to sober investigation, shaping global perception of the regime. North Korea is not merely a shadow on the map. It is a complex society woven with control, fear, survival, and hope. Its people live under a regime that demands loyalty, enforces strict hierarchies, and wields mythology like a weapon. Yet despite the oppression, humanity endures. Families celebrate in secret. Markets buzz with trade. Children dream of a different future. Through satellite eyes, defector voices, and open-source research, the world can glimpse beyond the darkness. This is Facts on Trial, answers to questions never asked, helping you understand the world better.